It's that time of the week, people. A new Final Fantasy topic to talk about. And this time, let's talk about pre-ordering. This topic has kind of kicked off due to some reports circling Twitter that Square Enix is panicking a little bit about Final Fantasy XVI's pre-orders being less than 15s. And look, yeah, Final Fantasy XVI is a platform exclusive for now, at least, on PS5, and yes, 15 came out on pretty much everything, including a Grandma's toaster. But let's talk about this, and specifically, how this affects you, the consumer. Final Fantasy XVI is continuing the trend of modern Final Fantasy games, of implementing a real-time based action gameplay, in lieu of the turn-based and ATB systems of old, that defined the series years and years ago. And this time they are leaning way more into the combo side of things than just having the combat be defined by ATB inputs like in 7 Remake, or whatever the crap 15's hold the button down and move the stick a bit for different combos was. And like with any change in a long-running and beloved franchise, any deviations from the established formula are bound to be polarizing, especially when they concern the core gameplay loop, and 16 is no exception to this. People like myself are either really looking forward to the pace options and reactive playstyle that 16 is introducing into the series, while others are either hesitant or just flat out put off. And understandably so, as it won't be for everyone. And you can drum up the lag in pre-order numbers to this concept if you want, but I generally am a fan of things never being quite that simple, and the true answer almost certainly lies with a combination of factors. Being a platform exclusive will always limit the pool of people that can play the game to begin with, which is why I'm always an advocate of games getting multi-platform ports, since if I love a game, I want more people to have access to playing said game, and likewise, if I have access to a game that I don't like, I would like other people to have access to that game because they might enjoy it as well. The economics of that get a little bit tricky for certain series, but Final Fantasy has kind of had success when it comes to being multi-platform. 14 is available on both PlayStation and PC, whereas I said before, 15 was available on basically whatever you can get your hands on. And both those games have healthy install bases. Heck, 7 Remake has gone multi-platform since its initial release, and 16 will at some point with a PC release. 15 was polarizing and inconsistent as a game, in terms of its quality and pacing, story-wise and gameplay-wise. However, the game still sold really well, if you go look at the numbers. I personally played it on Xbox, as that was what I had access to at the time, and it helped get me into Final Fantasy to begin with. So Final Fantasy 15 being multi-platform was a direct reason that I became a Final Fantasy fan to begin with. 16 is available on just PlayStation right now, and not even just PlayStation, only the PS5, which has only relatively recently found its groove in the availability department. Remember when the first few years of the PS5, it was kind of borderline impossible to get your hands on one of the frickin' things? I do. I only managed to get one last year as supplies increased. So the available pool of players who can even play 16 to begin with is limited, since it's a PS5 exclusive and not available on the PS4. But also, all those other Final Fantasy fans that don't own a PlayStation 5 just can't get Final Fantasy 16 either. Not everyone who has a PlayStation 5 is going to look forward to a Final Fantasy game. You pair that on top of the fact 15 had a marketing firestorm on top of multiple demos, an anime, and a movie, whereas we haven't even gotten one demo for 16 yet. That wasn't just part of some media marketing campaign, and you can understand why 16's numbers may be lagging a bit behind. But how does this affect you, the consumer? So we laid out why this may be happening, but let's talk about how it affects you, the consumer. And honestly, it shouldn't all that much. I've been a bit of an advocate for consumers not pre-ordering games for years now, but especially in the modern day. In the past, we relied far more on physical sales and copies. Yeah, pre-ordering a game you knew you were going to play would make things easier if you pre-ordered it, as you didn't have to worry about it selling out in the store. But in the modern day, when we rely way less on physical releases on the whole, this won't apply to everyone, mind you, supply just isn't much of an issue, since you just download the thing. And for a game that you may be hesitant on due to its gameplay and or story, not forking over money for a product you're unsure about is the smart thing to do. 16 appeals to me on nearly every level, but it may not for you, and that's fine. We all like different things at the end of the day, but you and I should always strive to be smart, responsible consumers. If 16 comes out and turns out to be a product that you are interested in, well yeah, then you can just pick it up. But do your research first. We're at a time in the industry when getting information for a game is easier than ever. We have people who will upload Let's Plays, gameplay, or even stream the game on release. I myself will be streaming Final Fantasy XVI on this YouTube channel. We have a plethora of online reviews for you to scope through, a ton of trailers and interviews. Information is available to you to help you make a more informed purchase and a more informed decision, so that you are less likely to invest time or money on something that you just may simply not enjoy. It is so easy to be dragged into tribalistic binary arguments that reduce game discussion to just sports team-esque debates, where my series is better than yours, or your series is worse than mine, and whatever. And to me, those arguments may be fun every now and then, but they don't benefit the consumer when it comes to discussing what game to actually buy. Sure, it can be fun to engage in some good old bants between game fandoms, I get that. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember that these games are commodities, and that you are consumers. Be smart, practical, and play things you enjoy, and let others do the same. And even if Final Fantasy XVI ends up selling less in the long run than Final Fantasy XV, which it probably will since it's a platform exclusive for a long time, it doesn't have to invalidate your feelings if you end up enjoying 16 more than 15 or vice versa. We all have our own preferences and like different things out of different games. We all probably have some different reason for enjoying Final Fantasy or falling out of favor with Final Fantasy. Pre-ordering, especially in the modern day, for video games gives the consumer very little benefit outside of games or franchises that you personally know that you are going to play beyond a doubt. Some games out there like Diablo 4 will give you access to the game a few days early if you buy a higher tier of the game and fork over some more money. Ethics of that aside, the only real benefit of playing Final Fantasy XVI early would be to avoid spoilers, or if you really want to grind the leaderboard. But it's not like 16 is being available earlier than its release or the demo, at least from my knowledge. And Final Fantasy is a series that for me is one that I know I'm going to play beyond a doubt. But it may not be for you, and that is fine. But don't let your preferences and opinions be rooted in the opinions of others. Do your own research. Make smart decisions. Learn about it. Decide if this is a game that you want to not only devote money to, but also time. Be a smart consumer and you won't be led astray. Take a game like Redfall that recently came out. If you are looking forward to that game, it wasn't on my radar personally, but if I was looking forward to it, it would not have been a day one purchase for me. I would have waited, bided my time, and saw how people thought about it on release, look up some gameplay of it on release, see if it was actually a game I would be really interested in. I would see all the issues with it, gameplay-wise and bug-wise, judge saying, hey, this is not for me, I'm going to avoid this and go dedicate my time or money somewhere else that may interest me more. That's being a smart consumer, making those choices, taking all that information, not just taking people at their word, but interpreting their word, interpreting the information they are presenting into how it affects and relates to you. Because we're not all going to have our own same preferences. Someone may only like turn-based gameplay. Someone may only like real-time based gameplay. But at a time when actually seeing gameplay of a game is easier than ever, you can go judge for yourself. That's one of the beautiful things about the modern state of the games industry, is that we have all this information available to you, the consumer. Why take away that advantage by pre-ordering a game if you know you're not 100% going to love it? And just because a lot of people may like something, or not like something, doesn't mean that it has to be what you think of it. A lot of people like Final Fantasy XII, and it's just a game that I'm not personally interested in. I played it to completion, but it just wasn't a game for me. And that's fine, because it's going to be a game for others. And there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of fond memories for Final Fantasy XII. And their opinions about the game are no less just because I said I don't like Final Fantasy XII. And some people may not like Final Fantasy XV. But I like Final Fantasy XV. It has a lot of issues, I agree. But I still love the game at the end of the day, but some people won't be. So do your research. If you're unsure about Final Fantasy XVI, wait and see. The game's not going to go anywhere. Heck, down the line you can probably get it on a discount anyways. Do your research to determine if this is something you want to play, and if it is, cool. I'm not going to be up here on a pedestal saying that all pre-ordering is bad in concept, because I know I'm going to play Final Fantasy XVI. I'm really looking forward to it. The stuff and information I have seen seems like the game will appeal to me. I have no reason to doubt Final Fantasy XVI. Yoshi P and that Creative Business Unit 3 have not done anything to warrant pessimism from me. But that's my opinion, and you may agree or you may disagree, and that is fine. Like I said throughout this entire video, do your own research and find out. Be a smart consumer, and go play some video games. that you enjoy. So I'm going to call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And leave a comment down below with maybe a time when you pre-ordered a game and you ended up being disappointed with it. Or a time you tried out a game and you didn't think you would like it all that much and you fell in love with it. And if you can't think of anything like that, that's fine. What was your favorite gaming moment in the last couple of years? I would love to hear your stories and hear your thoughts and hear your opinions. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games if you can, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye everybody, until we meet again.